Hello and welcome, love of fooders. Today we're going to be making a vegetable side dish using these green beans. You know these green beans. These are the French green beans that you can leave the tips on. I like to buy these because they're easy and you don't have to sit and snap beans. And the tips don't take away from what you are eating like they would on a very stringy type of bean. But we're going to be kicking these green beans up a couple of notches with, of course, you heard me say it, bacon. Now this is some bacon that we've already fried off, and we fried it off until it was crisp but not burnt. And this is a dish that was made for me all the time as a child with salt pork. But we're going to be using bacon because it's more readily available. And, you know, this bacon was just some pieces that I had cut off the ends, you know, the pieces that nobody ever really wants to eat anyway. So why not use it instead of wasting it? We're going to be adding in some balsamic vinegar and some spices to make this green bean dish fabulous. So what we've done is we nuked our beans for about 3 minutes in the microwave and then plunged them into this ice cold water. We're going to drain these. And we're heating up the grease that was left over from our bacon. Yes, we're cooking these in bacon grease. They don't have to be perfect, but you just don't want to be dropping any water into that oil. So it should be fine. If you wanted to, you could do this ahead of time and then just let these sit. They would be fine. I have my oil on about medium. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just drop a small one in, see what's happening here, see if it's starting to sizzle yet. And it's not just quite yet, so that's fine. We'll give it just another minute or so. We'll let that heat up. About dropping these in. We're not deep frying them. I just want to put them, make sure that the oil is hot so that they don't absorb all the grease in and just become soggy. So we're going to pop those in. And you can hear it popping, and that's because I have a little bit of water still in there. Remember, I said we were going to have some water, but not a lot. And just make sure that when you're doing this that you're standing back, so just in case anything does spit at you, you don't get that bacon grease in your eye. That's not fun. And I always wear an apron when I cook bacon, or you work with bacon grease, because it does splatter. So we're just moving these around, kind of letting them cook up. I'm going to add in some of my ingredients as we go, and I'll be back in just a moment. All right, these have been cooking for about another two and a half minutes so far, and I'm going to start adding in some of my spices. And I'm going to start with my garlic first. So I have a teaspoonful of garlic powder. And again, you all know that I don't measure, but it's going to be about a half a teaspoon. I'm going to add in some onion powder as well. If I can get this one open. Damp somewhere along the way in shipping. All right, and again, so about a half a teaspoon of onion powder. And then black pepper. I like to use fresh black pepper whenever I can in my cooking. And again, we'll do that about, that was about a quarter of a teaspoon. So we want to make sure that we don't burn the garlic here. So you don't want to do this too high, because if the garlic in fact burns, it'll ruin the whole dish. And I'm going to go ahead and add in, remember that bacon. I'm going to toss that bacon in. I'm going to toss it around. We're going to add in just a little bit, and I'm just going to put that over there for a second so that I don't rest it on the hot burner here. We're going to add in about a teaspoon of balsamic vinegar. Now, when my dad used to make this, he'd use red wine vinegar, which would be more traditional. And if you don't like the darker color on the bean, you know, the dark balsamic vinegar, you can certainly use a red wine vinegar. And I'm just going to toss that around. And then we're going to taste, and we're going to decide, does it need to have that little bit of salt added? I think it does. I'm going to go ahead and give it just a little bit of salt. About a teaspoon and a half, maybe. And if I want to, I just toss them. And if I want to, I can certainly add in a little more garlic salt or anything else for flavoring. It's not going to hurt it. I'll be back to take a picture of these so you can see how they look in the bowl. I hope you've enjoyed watching For the Love of Food.